So
Think we're good.
we can just pause right here for a second. This just looks at the building from the 5th floor apartment of the future mixed-use development. Looking to the building, you see the plaza there in front of the new high school. That plaza extends into that good neighbor space, which is 300 spaces of parking required by the school, also could be shared by development. We're hoping that at one point, perhaps there's an opportunity, if there could ever be structured parking, then you can imagine a green space, a true community use green space in that area where there is currently proposed parking. You can also see by leaning the road away from the school how much yard and frontage you actually create. And so you can see right where the blue stair area is, that is the current loading dock. So by taking the loading dock out and restoring that to yard, you also then create a little bit more space between the traffic and the building. And all of that then can be very nice queuing space for buses and so forth in the afternoons. So a lot of attention given to just the arrival and the experience of coming and going every day by students and staff and visitors, and the face that it presents to the community in the future. You can see also just from a massing standpoint, the middle school is a 3-story structure, and then the building is simply 2 academic bars, very simple diagram. One is 4 stories and the other is 5 stories. And you can also see in this view all of the PV panels that would go toward making up that 25% power generation toward the net zero. The existing roof is kept clean. I'm sorry, the new roof is kept clean to allow for all of those PVs. So we can go forward, thank you. So again, you can see the Wooner for crossing over. The bollards keep the pedestrians and the cars apart. Going through the main entrance, this is the main arrival for everyone, every day. On the left is the main office. All of this is ballistic glass. We'll pause and we'll say hello to the security. Go ahead. To the security officer. Someone's getting busted. And then we'll go. And then this is the heart of the school. We pay a lot of attention to the design principles that were put forth in the study, which was, I want to just acknowledge the good work by Perkins Eastman as well. Very nicely done. But we know the strength of the performing arts program in Falls Church. So if you could just pause here, John. What you're seeing here modeled is the mezzanine. The mezzanine is an alternate to provide the additional 100 seats. So we're showing the mezzanine in this model. And then if you would go forward, and then what we have done with some high schools recently is the back half of the auditorium can be treated as a flat floor with retractable auditorium style seating, upholstered seats and backs that retract so that you can use it as a flat floor flexible space, and you can close a partition so that the forward half can be used for large group instruction, the back half can be used for some other use simultaneously. So that's what's in our proposal, is using the auditorium in this way. Going back into the lobby, we know that there's a great deal of history and culture and legacy around athletics and academics. There's your Mustang medallion from the library. We'll come back to the legacy wall on the left in just a moment, but working our way down. The main crossroads here at the main level. The elevator bank is right here on the right, and then just turning and looking back toward the middle school, the Mustang Cafe. And that is a grab-and-go, scramble type of a food operation, backing up to a common food kitchen that then would also share separately a middle school serving line. So a high school and middle school serving line served by a common kitchen. And then we'll be renovating the middle school. We'll be moving the serving line to the vocal music room, and then we'll be renovating the serving line for vocal music when we're done to make that all work. So very open, and then go, if you would, please. And then we're looking at this point down one level into the competition gymnasium. You can see the stairs down on your left. It will look all the way through. You saw the elevation in the video that Jen just showed, but we're looking all the way through the gymnasium north out onto the existing football field. And a couple of those banners, I think, are for boys and girls soccer and boys tennis this spring. So if we just continue down the way, the next space is the auxiliary gym with the elevated running track. Again, accessible off of this heart of the school. We'll just take a moment, take a look at that. Again, you can see right through all of this. Sure. You can see the branded graphics in this area of the building. Mustang Graphics. We're looking up to the makerspace that is on the second floor there. So bringing back to the beginning, going back up now the stairs on the left, graphics, anything that would acknowledge the history of academics, the athletics, the culture, the history here in Falls Church. Arriving here on the second floor, again, rethinking the media center as a more contemporary kind of a space. It's right over the cafeteria, so the glass there at the end could connect right down. This may be a place that might allow students to bring their lunch, for example. Very accessible to the community. And at the end of this access, then again, still in the heart of the school, at the end of this access then is one of the two maker studios. So overhead cord reels, movable furniture, 3D printers, robots, drones, and still connected to the other activities of the school. Athletics, looking back over that main floor heart of the school, and then on out to the athletic complex to the west. Moving on to the third floor. This is the third floor, again, in the heart of the school, right on that main corridor. This is a feature we call the Learning Stair. It provides convenient access up to the fourth floor, but it also provides large group instruction and meeting space in the form of an amphitheater. Looking back out over to outdoor learning space that connects to your STEAM labs on the third floor. Again, a collaborative learning space right in the middle of your building. Looking back out to the front now of the school, so if you can imagine out those windows would be the future community commercial development. This is on the fourth floor in that academic bar. All of the classrooms, great deal of visibility into the space. Half-high lockers below the windowsill, overlooking, and again, that's the third floor, double height space, so that you can imagine all of the various types of learning that you could have here and offer your students in a space like this. You saw a moment ago a skylight on that fourth floor ceiling, and I'll show you that in just a moment. Again, typical classroom. I think we had a SpaceX launch going off on this day. Again, lots of transparency going out. Now we're on the fifth floor, the highest floor of that northernmost bar. And a portion of this floor is depressed as an outdoor learning terrace. Racetrack of classrooms that are around that central space, but you can imagine allowing students actually outside into that terrace, completely secure, for any number of things. In a space like this, there's that skylight bringing light into that third and fourth floor double height space there right on the right. So again, this is part of the fifth floor. And then if we just raise up and look back the roof, again, all of the PV array to get to the 25% generation. You see the overall massing of the building. It feels very compatible with the middle school. As the sun sets over our shoulder, the crowd goes wild. so.